racing in the Chris Flyer. Lucky 9 races away in the Chris Flyer, back to back into history. Lucky 9 from Preble and Founds takes it out by 3. Gates are back, racing in the Count Wild. He's got a great start from the inside. Dan XL takes out the Singapore Airlines International Cup. Hello and welcome along to our review of the 2014 international races here in Singapore. Once again, some of the world's best sprinters and stayers converged on Kranji for a sensational night of racing. We have the defending champions Lucky 9, a military attack back, a very strong contingent from Hong Kong, as well as some very good horses from Europe, and for the first time in 9 years, an American horse, Sea Sage. Conditions were very wet at the start of the day, but it did clear up nicely, and by the time we got to the Chris Flyer International Sprint, the track had been upgraded to good, and they had been running some very quick times throughout the afternoon. Let's go back and have a look at some of the action from International Day 2014. Devastating win by Lucky 9 for Brett Preble and Casper Found. Military attack for Zach Burton has added that elusive international Group 1 on foreign soil for trainer John Moore.
In a way where my heart's really at, stay united for the love and hate. In a way, we're repping for the nation on a bright day. See the lights, they're shining with the 5 stars. To look back, I believe we came too far. In this walls are the memories, pain, and the great big success shape on who we really are. for the love. So let us get together now and rise above the challenges, so we could reach out to the clouds with the pride deep down in our hearts. We will never fall apart, regardless of the odds. We keep our spirits up high right from the start.
Indeed, welcome along to multicultural Singapore for a magnificent hour and a half of international horse racing coming up with the Chris Flyer International Sprint and also the Singapore Airlines International Cup. Craig Evans with you along with Matt Jones. Matt, it's a fantastic night of racing and the conditions have certainly improved from earlier on in the day.
Yeah, it was fairly bleak at the start of the day. We had the lights on for the first couple of races, but it did clear up later in the afternoon. The rain hasn't been around for a few hours. Great to welcome back to Singapore, isn't it? Last year's winners, Military Attack for the Singapore Airlines International Cup, and also Lucky 9. But there's one other name that we welcome back to Singapore, and that's Joe Moreira, who was our favourite son for so many years. He's already ridden a winner tonight. Yeah,
what a way to start the program. He rode the very first winner of the evening at Hong Kong 12 months ago, had that magnificent night. There's every chance they're going to do it again.
Yeah, and there's also a chance it won't be the same Hong Kong horses that do it. It's Sterling City, who won the Golden Shaheen in Dubai's got every chance. Took a bit of a blow, didn't it, at the barrier draw during gate number 10. And Dan Excel in the Cup, who ran second in the race last year, now he came up trumps at the barrier draw during gate number 1.
Conditions are absolutely perfect now. We are racing on a yielding track. We'll have more information about the weather and track coming up very soon. Edward Sadler and Larry Fowler in the back parade ring.
Yes, thank you for that, Craig. The atmosphere is building as we gear up towards our two biggest races for the year, the Chris Flyer International Sprint and also the Singapore Airlines International Cup. The runners are just starting to parade for the Chris Flyer International Sprint. Larry Foley, you've been to several of these international meetings. What's your take on this year?
It's electric. The atmosphere is what you come for. It's international racing, just goes up that extra peg. We get it one time a year and it's the two races, and it just doesn't get any more exciting, Edward.
That's exactly right, Larry. We've got Lucky 9 here to defend his crown from last year. Are you going with him?
I think you have to. One, you know, he can win here. Military Attack won it last year in the Cup. The Hong Kong horses, they travel well, they're very professional. Casper Founds is a traveller as well, the trainer. That's important, as is John Moore, who broke his international duck in the Cup last year. So the Hong Kong horses will be hard to beat.
And we've seen several of the local horses obviously going around, most recently in the Lions City Cup. Zach Spirit took that out. Is he the best of the locals?
He has to be. He's improving. I think Cliff Brown's done a terrific job. We were talking about getting wound up for this race. He won the Lions City Cup well. But this is the big one. This is it. And I think there's a lot of people that think he's up there with them.
Weather and track is also important in the racing game. Let's have a look at how it is today.
Now, we've just been informed that the track has been upgraded to good 5.0 after we had a 5.2 yielding after the first couple of races. So the rain has ceased about an hour and a half ago, and we have had a track upgrade to good at 5.0. 28 degrees at the moment. It is cloudy, but the radars are showing no sign of rain in the next hour and a half for our two big international races. We're 24 minutes away from the 2014 Chris Flyer International Sprint. Now, time for the jockey introductions in the lead up to two big international races here this evening. And first up, riding number 1 is Lucky 9, Brett Preble, already a two-time winner of the Chris Flyer International Sprint on Sacred Kingdom and reigning champ Lucky 9. Please welcome back to Kranji, Brett Preble. The next jockey, he dominated Singapore racing during 4 seasons before departing for Hong Kong. He rides Sterling City and Military Attack. The magic is back at Kranji tonight, Joe Moreira. On the globe-trotting veteran local galloper, captain of your Singapore-based Panamanian rider, Oscar Chavez. Riding Singapore's in-form sprinter, with his last start Group 1 Lions City Cup victory, English Derby winning jockey Alan Munro. After a long and successful stint in Singapore, he takes his first ride tonight on local hope El Padrino. Please make welcome Danny Beasley. With 2 rides in the big races here, a mainstay of the Singapore Jockeys Room for many years. He takes rides on Goalkeeper and Johnny Guitar, one of South Africa's best, Baron Vorster. Having ridden for the powerful Ballydoyle stable for many years and boasting an impressive worldwide riding resume, aboard Belmont Mast, Colin O'Donoghue. With 2 rides and no stranger to big race success around the world, and the reigning Melbourne Cup winning jockey with rides aboard Medici and Man and Mullakalok. Welcome Damien Oliver. An ex-rider has elevated himself to the top of the world's riding ranks and looks destined to lift his first Hong Kong jockey's title this season aboard Emperor Max and Trapeus Zach Burton. A master tactician and a punter's favourite during his many years in Singapore, aboard the emerging star Slew of Low, John Powell. The reigning Singapore Gold Cup winning jockey, and quickly establishing himself as one of the best jockeys in the world, the brilliant young gun Tommy Berry, aboard Dan Excel. One of Japan's best riders for many years and known for his association with champion Mare Vodka, riding Tokay Halo, Hirofumi Shi. Already a winner of this race back in 2001 on Endless Fall, and aboard a globe-trotting warrior tonight, one of the UK's finest, Jamie Spencer. Returning to Kranji after a stint here more than 10 years ago and boasting the Arc de Triomphe victory in 2006 on Smoking Sun, Stéphane Pasquier. Fresh from another successful Dubai season during the northern winter and aboard Lamario in tonight's SIA Cup, Irishman Patrick Dobbs. Singapore's champion apprentice in 2013, and tonight riding in his first international Group 1 on the QE2 Cup champ Wild Geese, Harry Kassam. A local legend who will have Kranji hysterical if he can win here tonight on City Lad, KB Sue. And our final rider, both himself and his horse Sea Sage have travelled halfway around the world to be reunited tonight in Singapore. World-class rider David Flores. Ladies and gentlemen, our riders to take part in the 2 international races here this evening, the Singapore Airlines International Cup and firstly the Chris Flyer International Sprint. So once again, please make welcome our champion riders coming from all around the globe to join us here in Singapore this evening.
The Chris Flyer International Sprint over 1,200 metres. Number 1, Lucky 9 for jockey Brett Preble and trainer Casper Found. Number 2 is Sterling City for Joe Moreira and trainer John Moore. 3 is Captain Obvious, Oscar Chavez and Elvin Tarn. Number 4 is Zach Spirit for rider Alan Munro, trained by Cliff Brown. Number 5 is El Padrino, Dan Beasley and Elvin Tarn. 6 is Goalkeeper for jockey Baron Vorster and trained by Theo Kieser. 7 Belmont Mast for Colm O'Donoghue and trainer Edward Lynham. Number 8 is Medician Man for jockey Damien Oliver and trainer Jeremy Gask. 9 is Emperor Max for jockey Zach Curtin and trained by Stephen Gray. And number 10 is Slew of Load, jockey John Powell and the trainer Pat Shaw.
Now we have a horse withdrawal here.
Okay, well, it doesn't look good there for Medician Man. Pat Cummings is joining us. Pat, what's the story here?
Yeah, I just spoke with trainer Jeremy Gask, and he indicated the Medician Man wears glue-on shoes, and he was a suspect as to whether or not they'd be able to get a shoe on him, a new plate, and that certainly seems to have been the problem here.
Just getting a little bit stirred up behind the gates. Let's hope they get him now. He goes in, Zach Spirit. So he goes up. Alan Munro to jump aboard. Captain Obvious, Lucky 9, the last 2. And we'll be right to go for the Chris Flyer. So Captain Obvious for Chavez coming along. And this will leave the reigning champ, Lucky 9, out of the gates. and he supports Sterling City. We're almost set. Lucky 9 coming along, and they're right to go. Started looking across the line. Gates back, racing in the Chris Flyer. Captain Obvious burst out of the gates, went to the front over Zach Spirit. Lucky 9 commenced beautifully over on the inside. Emperor Max is zooming up on the outer, followed by Sterling City, getting across to be 3 off early on from goalkeeper Slew of Load, Belmont Mast, and a gap away to El Padrino. Turning off the back now, 800 metres to go. Captain Obvious led. Emperor Max quickly up to second. Lucky 9, the run of the race over on the fence, joined by Zach Spirit. Then came next of all goalkeeper Sterling City, and they hum along here. Slew of Load over on the inside of Belmont Mast, and 4 lengths away to El Padrino as they come to the top of the straight. 500 metres to go in the Chris Flyer. The grey Captain Obvious led over Emperor Max. Lucky 9 over on the inside, sweating on a run. Zach Spirit makes his move around the outside, looms into it quickly, followed by Sterling City, who needs to pick up. Emperor Max the leader. Lucky 9, Zach Spirit come after Emperor Max. Lucky 9 gets the first run on them. Lucky 9 went to the lead over Emperor Max. Zach Spirit tries, but tries in vain. Lucky 9 races away in the Chris Flyer, back to back into history. Lucky 9 for Preble and Founds takes it out by 3. Second, Emperor Max. Third in Zach Spirit. Fourth is tied between Captain Obvious and also Sterling City. Then came next in El Padrino, well back Slew of Load, followed by goalkeeper, and the last to cross the line was Belmont Mast with the late stretching Medicean Man. Too good. Tell you what, he loves these barriers in Singapore. Lucky 9. Darren Flindell made the point before the race that probably last year was the best he's seen him begin out of the barriers, and tonight he's just absolutely flown out of the gates, got the absolute run of the race. Zach Spirit went up to challenge him. They both made their runs together at about the 300 metres mark. Zach Spirit, I dare say, a little bit wound up behind the gates, may have run his race before the race, but Emperor Max has run an absolute blinder. So well done to Connections with Emperor Max. It's 1:09.4 and 3, 1:08.15 after the Chris Flyer, 1:08.15, 1:09.4 and 3 after the feature sprint of the evening of the season here in Singapore. And Brett Preble, he had a long, hard look back, as if to say, here I am, come and get me. But there was absolutely no chance that he was going to get run over. So Lucky 9, first horse in history to go back-to-back in the Chris Flyer International Sprints for Casper Founds, Brett Preble, and Dr. FT Chang by Dabawi, a 7-year-old now. He's 2 from 2 in Singapore, and he takes out the Chris Flyer. 1:09.4 and 3, and Lucky 9 goes back-to-back in the big race.
Yeah, what a great horse he's turning out to be, Lucky 9. At the ripe old age of 7, he gives you another Chris Fly. Well done, Casper Founds.
Thank you so much. A real pleasure to train this horse, and it's been really thrilling to get my 3rd win in this race. But this horse has had a lot of fun for the stable, and we're all proud of him.
You must have been immensely confident after the start. He was right behind the front runner in a perfect position.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been in great form, even though he's 7. I don't tell him. I tell him he's a 4-year-old. So he listens. And what are some of the traits he has that makes him so adaptable when you travel overseas? Well, he's got a lot of heart, and that's what you need in a good horse. And he adjusts to the environment quite easily. And he's just a good traveller. He's like one of us. He likes to get out of Hong Kong and then get back home.
We spoke to Brett Preble earlier on in the day, and he said that all this horse needed was luck in running and he would win, and that was exactly right.
Yeah, he was spot on, wasn't he? Some of the beaten brigade coming back. What a mighty run from Emperor Max to run second. Darren Flindell with me. Darren, you've come over to watch your horses, and they've done you proud.
Well, it just absolutely the carbon copy of last year. He's just jumped brilliantly again tonight. And, well, I really thought after the first 100 metres, well, he'll be winning again. He did come off the bridle a bit before the home turn, just a few anxious moments, but Brett Preble got him his mind back on the job, and, boy, he's been dominant tonight.
Yeah, it was a bit of a worrying moment about the 600, but at the 400, you thought, no, you want to be with him again. Sterling City just seemed to battle.
Well, the concerns about the barrier draw weren't there at the end, because Moreira was able to drop him in and get a nice position. He just wasn't good enough off the bit a long way out.
Okay, so runners coming back. It's 1:09.4 and 3 on the Cruise Flyer. Joe Moreira weighing in after Sterling City finished down the track. 1:09.4 and 3. Victory for Hong Kong.
Terrific effort from Emperor Max. It's the first time he's been able to beat Zach Spirit. But unfortunately, there was a horse called Lucky 9 in the race, Matt, and he's just been too good for all of them again.
Yeah, great moment for Lucky 9. We spoke to Casper about what it takes to have a horse that can travel, and this horse, boy, he has travelled. He's covered some miles, and he's getting rich rewards, isn't he, Darren?
Well, I like the point Casper made as well. Horses can be a little bit like us. We like a break. We all love to get out of Hong Kong, and obviously Lucky 9 relishes this. He's been to Japan a few times and had some very bad luck in races over there, but he has taken a real shining to Singapore. And I actually thought he behaved himself a bit better this year than last year. He didn't sort of get quite as carried away, considering the lengthy delay we had. I think they're about 8 minutes late at the end.
The winning jockey, he's had so much success in this race, is Brett Preble. He's heading over towards Edward, and it's Brett, another win here in the Cruise Flyer, Edward.
It is indeed back-to-back for Brett, and his third win in the Chris Flyer as well. He was supremely confident leading into the race when we spoke to him. That confidence was justified. Brett?
Well, before I say that, it was a super training performance. Casper would have had a couple of nights, sleepless nights. Whether or not to take the blinkers off or not, it was a magnificent training performance to do it. I was a bit sceptical, but afterwards thinking about it, I think it was the winning move tonight, and all credit goes to Casper.
Take us through the race. The horse has had issues at the barriers before, but once he jumped well, you just must have felt so good.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. I think the blinkers did the job. You know, we put him on because he was being very difficult and sluggish out, and he's got out of that little habit. Thank God. Well, I'm going to hold my breath. You know, I'm not going to say he won't do it again, but at the moment he seems a happy horse, and he's willing to jump away with the field. So, you know, that sprint race, you come out a length behind, you got to make up that length. So it's lovely when they're jumping on par.
And the tempo was certainly very good right the way through, so you just had the perfect sit-in behind them.
He's the best horse in the race, you know. I just had to wait, and you know, when the rain stopped, we had enough cushion in the ground, which he really loves that, and I just couldn't wait to press him because I knew what I had underneath me, and it's great performance, great horse, and great training performance, as I said.
And for you personally, your third Chris Fly, so it's a race you've had plenty of success in.
Yeah, I should have won on a green birdie for Casper as well, which I stayed in Hong Kong to try and win the premiership, so I should have aimed 4, but I'm not going to cry.
Well done, Brett.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just witnessed another spectacular performance from a Hong Kong horse, Lucky 9, who's taken out the Cruise Flyer Sprint of 2014 to go back-to-back. Trained in Hong Kong by Casper Founds and ridden superbly here by Brett Preble. We're pleased to have up on stage Mr. Stephen Lee, the chairman of Singapore Airlines, Mr. Goh Chun Pong, the Chief Executive Officer, Singapore Airlines, also Mr. Mak Swee Wah, Executive Vice President Commercial from Singapore Airlines, and from the Singapore Turf Club, the chairman, Mr. Tan Guang Ching. I'd now like to invite Mr. Stephen Lee to present the trophy to the winning owner of the Cruise Flyer International Sprint. And of course, the horse Lucky 9. Please make welcome up on stage Dr. Chang Fuk To. What a marvellous horse he is. The ripe old age of 7, and he wins again in Singapore. And well done to Hong Kong. Well done to the connections of this marvellous galloper, Lucky 9. That is his career win number 13 from his 40th start. Now the Cruise Flyer International Sprint is the 4th leg of the Global Sprint Challenge. So to receive the Global Sprint Challenge trophy, we invite up on stage Madam Maria Lee. Cruise Flyer International Sprint, among the prestigious sprint races around the world. Lucky 9, one of the very best sprinters, has won it twice in a row. The winning trainer, back to do it all again this year, Casper Founds. Well done to Casper. Tremendous record in this race. He wins it again for the 3rd time, and for the 2nd time with this horse Lucky 9, he takes out the Cruise Flyer Sprint. And the winning jockey, a man that's had so much success in this race, and another terrific ride, Brett Preble. Horse jumped away well from a good barrier draw, just off the bit up towards the turn, but he got going again. They went blistering first early sectional, 23.5 it was for the first 400, and Lucky 9 was able to sprint and run the quick time of 18.15. Our congratulations go to the connections, the trainer Casper Founds, Brett Preble the jockey, and Lucky 9 takes out the Cruise Flyer Sprint.
So once again, the Chris Fly International Sprint lives up to its billing as one of the best sprint races in the world, and Lucky 9, certainly one of the best sprinters in the world, a dominant performance for 2 years in a row now. We'll take a very quick break and come back with the Singapore Airlines International Cup.